all right. It's quite a bold statement to say that you haven't heard about this specific conspiracy theory. You might have, even though it's quite improbable. What I'm quite sure about is that you do not believe in this conspiracy theory. The reason is pretty simple. It has been made up by researchers 15 years ago in order to do this wonderful study we're going to talk about today. Well, it's actually a scientific paper from British Journal of Psychology from 2011, which consists of two separate studies. First one focused on 817 Britons, and researchers asked them questions about real conspiracy theory about real event, so-called 7/7 bombing. 7/7 refers similarly as 9/11 to a real bombing event which happened on 7th of July 2005. Now, as it happens, especially in the wake of September 11 attacks, a bunch of conspiracy theories appeared. So researchers asked questions to what extent people believed in specific statements which were partly correct or factual, or partly were based on conspiracy theories. What I mean by real conspiracy theories, that means that people actually in real world believe these conspiracy theories, not that the conspiracy theories proved to be real. It's actually almost impossible for a conspiracy theory to be proven right, but especially after Epstein files, I would understand if you'd like to throw rocks at me right now. So that's a topic for a separate video. We're gonna handle that later. Right now, the second study, which is slightly more interesting, focused on people from Austria. It was, in a sense, an expansion based on the previous study and asked people questions about a different conspiracy theory regarding Red Bull. Why Red Bull in Austria? Well, Red Bull is based in Austria, so people from this study would have much more information, knowledge, and connection to the topic of conspiracy theories. Same with Britain's and 7/7 attacks. People in Austria received similar questionnaire as people in Britain, but this time the questionnaire was about completely fictitious conspiracy theories surrounding Red Bull. But what if there actually are real conspiracies surrounding Red Bull? Well, they might be, but these specific questions in the questionnaire in the study were made up by researchers. So we are quite sure these are not real conspiracies, even though they sound like ones. Or more like they sound like real conspiracy theories. So participants in the study received a questionnaire with different statements. Some were quite normal, some were specifically conspiratorial. So people should, on a scale, agree or disagree with statements like Red Bull contains illegal substances that raise the desire for the product. Subliminal messages in Red Bull television commercials make consumers believe that Red Bull improves one's health. Or that the official inventor of Red Bull, Dietrich Mateschitz, pays 10 million euros each year to keep food controllers quiet in Europe. There's more, but the final one is beautiful. The ban of Red Bull Cola in Germany was due to not paying enough bribe money to German politicians. And the results showed that yes, there actually were people who agreed with completely fictitious conspiracy theories. Now the point of the study was not if, but why people believe in conspiracy theories, but also fictitious ones. Now, the answer coming from this study is actually one of the staples of conspiracy theory research. It is a finding that we have replicated many times since then. The strongest predictor for someone to believe in fictitious conspiracy theory is that he believes in some different real-world conspiracy theory. In other words, you are more likely to believe in any conspiracy theory if you already believe in one. Which actually explains why conspiracy theories and pseudoscience often create specific enclosed ecosystems. Researcher Ted Gertzel, in his study from 1994, called this a monological belief system, which is an enclosed informational system, or we'd say a loop or a cycle, where each conspiracy theory author or a book or a website cites only from each other. They ignore or do not trust sources from outside, which oftentimes discredit conspiracy theories. And that's not all. There was another predictor, strong predictor of belief in conspiracy theory, which has been replicated since then many times, and that is belief in paranormal. The more likely are you to believe in paranormal, the more likely are you to accept some conspiracy theory as true. It doesn't, of course, mean it's automatic that if you believe in paranormal or in some conspiracy theory, you automatically believe every conspiracy theory. No, it raises the chances statistically. And it raises the chances of you believing in conspiracy theory much more than any other predictor we know about right now. Which means education, social economic status, political ideation, and so on. By the way, there is more research on if people believe in fictitious conspiracy theories. What I have in my notes right now is, for example, a study from two researchers, Oliver and Wood from University of Chicago from 2014, which is called Conspiracy Theories and the Paranoid Styles of Mass Opinion. They actually created their own conspiracy theory, which they used for the paper. It has been called CFLB conspiracy. It basically claimed that the state secretly spread the use of light bulbs, which make people dumb. It would explain so much. No, it's a made-up conspiracy theory, remember. And even though it was made up, 17% of respondents claimed that they have heard about this specific conspiracy theory, and 10% were sure that this was actual happening. It was real conspiracy, the one made up by researchers. So you might think, what am I trying to say with this? Well, it's pretty simple. I think the era of Epstein files showed us that it's much, much harder than ever before to distinguish between actual conspiracies and conspiracy theories. Because yes, there still is a huge difference. I would like to delve deeper into this in a separate video, but in short, conspiracy theories operate in their own universes, their own rules, which are not scientific nor investigative. They employ what researchers called crippled epistemology. In short, it means basically connecting anecdotal evidence and only collect the evidence that supports your hypothesis. And of course, reject the rest of the evidence as a part of conspiracy. Conspiracy theories are also a product of so-called conspiracism, which is a way of viewing the world through the lens of conspiracy, which means if you look at everything, what's happening now or what happened in history, through the lens that it's a conspiracy, well, everything will be a conspiracy, no matter if it actually was. Conspiracy theories also see meaning everywhere, and they do not leave any place for coincidences. And there's so much more we can talk about, but right now what I think is important that yes, there actually still are conspiracy theories which are not founded in reality. And it is, in my opinion, more important than ever to learn how to distinguish these conspiracy theories from actual conspiracies which are happening right now before our eyes. Since I've been researching and debunking conspiracy theories for basically past 10 years, and I myself have been a believer in conspiracy theories, I have many examples of both fictitious and real conspiracies. So if you're interested in either a short video or a deep dive on some specific conspiracy theory or science surrounding conspiracy theories, let me know down in the comments. That's all for today. Thank you very much for your attention. If you'd be interested in some long-form content, which is not in Czech, which is my mother tongue, I have a whole channel with deep dives in Czech, but you're probably not going to be interested in that. I have a second channel where I read studies and books on conspiracy theories live on Twitch. So together with other links and sources, you can find it in the description. All right, that's about it. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a nice day and release the Epstein files. By the way, this wasn't a sponsored video. I received no money from Red Bull, or maybe it's part of the conspiracy. Who knows?